Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something super relevant.
Hmm.
Whether you're a business owner
Yeah.
or, let's face it, just someone who uses the internet,
Right.
which is all of us,
Basically
we're
everyone.
diving into the world of local SEO,
Yes.
figuring out how to make sure your business actually shows up
Right.
when people nearby are searching for exactly what you offer.
You know how frustrating it is when you're looking for something specific in your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
Like, say, the best place to get a custom cake,
Mm-hmm.
and even after scrolling through pages of search results, you're still coming up empty.
The worst.
We're fixing that today.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
We've got excerpts from a blog post by Rank Boost Media called Top 10 Mistakes to Avoid in Local SEO for Service-Based Businesses.
Oh,
They're a digital marketing agency,
gotcha.
and they seem to know their stuff.
Okay.
Think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet
I like it.
for not just understanding local SEO,
Yeah.
but actually using it to your advantage.
They kick things off with a pretty compelling stat.
Okay.
Apparently, a whopping 76% of people
Wow.
who search for something locally
Mm-hmm.
end up visiting a business that same day.
Oh, wow.
Even better, 28% of those searches lead to a purchase.
Wow.
So we're not just talking about getting clicks here.
Right.
We're talking about getting people through the door.
That's huge. If you're a dog groomer, for example,
Right.
that means nearly 8 out of 10 people searching for dog grooming near me are ready to book an appointment today.
It's incredible.
That's the potential power of local SEO.
Yeah.
And it's something a lot of businesses are missing out on.
And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
With the rise of mobile search,
Yeah.
people are searching for things on the go,
Right.
using their phones to find what they need
Mm-hmm.
when they need it.
Yeah.
If your business isn't popping up in those near me searches, you're basically invisible.
It's like having that awesome food truck with the best tacos in town,
Right.
hidden down a back alley.
Yeah.
You might be a culinary genius, but if nobody can find you, what's the point?
Yeah.
You've got to make sure your digital storefront
Yeah.
is just as enticing
For sure.
as your actual offerings.
Exactly. And that brings us to the first major mistake.
Okay.
They highlight in the blog post,
Mm-hmm.
ignoring your Google My Business profile.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah.
They compare it to having a shop with no sign,
Right.
lights off,
Yeah.
door locked. Basically, you're telling potential customers
Right.
to just keep walking.
And here's why it matters.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, their first interaction with your business
Yeah.
isn't even your website.
Right.
It's your Google My Business listing.
Oh, right.
This is where they see your location on Google Maps,
Mm.
your hours, your phone number,
Right.
reviews from other customers.
It's true.
It's the whole package.
It's that first impression, that storefront window display
Yeah.
that either draws people in
Right.
or makes them keep scrolling.
Exactly.
Think about it. How many times have you searched for a business online
Oh, all the time.
and been completely turned off
Yeah.
because their hours were wrong or their address was outdated?
Happens to me all the time.
All the time. I remember this one time a restaurant had relocated
Okay.
and they did a fantastic job of updating their website,
Yeah.
but totally forgot about their Google My Business listing.
Oh, no.
They had spent weeks building hype for the new location,
Right.
but when people showed up,
Yeah.
all they found was an empty storefront.
Oh, that's awful.
Talk about a disaster, right?
Okay.
And all because of a simple oversight.
Wow.
So we know we need to claim and optimize our Google My Business listing,
Right.
but what does that actually look like in practice? The article mentions accurate information, regular posts, and managing reviews.
Right. Having accurate, consistent information across all platforms is super important.
Right.
And we'll get into that a bit more later.
Okay.
But think about it. You want to make it as easy as possible
Mm.
for people to find you and connect with you.
Right.
Posting regular updates.
Yeah.
Whether it's about special offers, new products,
Uh-huh.
or even just showcasing your team, they can make a big difference.
It's like inviting people into your world,
Yeah.
showing them what you're all about.
For sure.
And don't even get me started on the power of reviews. I know I'm way more likely to try a new place if it has a ton of glowing reviews.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
And it's not just about getting those positive reviews.
Mm.
It's about engaging with them.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to respond to reviews, both positive and negative.
Right.
It shows that you're paying attention
Yeah.
and that you genuinely care about what your customers think.
It's all about building those relationships, even in the digital world.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of speaking your customer's language, That takes us to the next common mistake businesses make,
Mm.
neglecting those all-important local keywords.
It seems simple enough,
Right.
but you'd be surprised how many businesses fall short here.
Really?
They're so focused on their service.
Yeah.
Let's say you're a plumber,
Okay.
that they forget to think about how potential customers are actually searching for them online.
Right. They're thinking plumbing services,
Yeah,
when what they really need to be targeting is emergency plumber near me.
exactly. The article gives a great example. Instead of just targeting the generic keyword plumber,
Yeah.
you need to be more specific,
Right.
like plumber in your city
Huh?
or 24/7 plumbing services in your zip code.
Oh, okay.
You've got to speak your customer's language.
It's like shouting food on a busy street when what you really want is to find that one specific taco truck. You've
Yeah.
got to be specific, you've got to be targeted,
Right.
and you've got to make it easy for people to find you when they're craving those metaphorical tacos.
Exactly. We've all been there, right? I know I've definitely been guilty of those hyper-specific Google searches myself. Vegan donuts near me, open now, anyone.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly why businesses need to be so strategic about those local keywords. However, the blog post does warn against going overboard. They
Yeah.
call it keyword stuffing.
Right.
And apparently, it can actually hurt your ranking more than it helps.
Yeah, keyword stuffing basically means cramming as many keywords as possible
Oh, wow.
in your website content,
Right.
even if it doesn't sound natural or make sense.
Yeah.
It's like trying to win a game by cheating.
Right.
It might work in the short term,
Yeah.
but it's not sustainable. And Google will eventually catch on the compass. Search engines are getting smarter all the time, and they can spot those shady tactics a mile away.
So it's all about finding that balance,
Right.
incorporating those local keywords naturally into your content without overdoing it and making it sound like a robot wrote it.
Exactly. And this emphasis on authenticity ties directly into the next mistake they highlight:
Okay.
inconsistent NAP information.
Okay.
Now, I know that might sound a little technical at first.
Yeah, when I first heard NAP, I thought we were about to take a midday nap. But it's actually a really important concept and one that a lot of businesses overlook.
It stands for name, address, and phone number,
Okay.
and it's all about consistency. You'd be surprised how often businesses have slightly different variations of this information floating around online.
Oh, really?
Maybe their business name is slightly different on Yelp versus Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe there's a typo in their address on their website.
It's like that friend who gives you the wrong address for a party.
The worst.
Right.
Frustrating. Right.
And while those little inconsistencies might seem minor,
Yeah.
they can actually have a big impact.
Yeah.
Think about, not only does it confuse Google,
Right.
which can hurt your search ranking,
Uh-huh.
but it also erodes trust with potential customers. Totally. If I see conflicting information about a business online, it makes me wonder, what else are they getting wrong?
Right.
It just creates this sense of doubt.
Exactly. And nobody wants to do business with a business that seems disorganized or untrustworthy.
It's like showing up to a meeting with mismatched socks and realizing you forgot to brush your hair.
Right.
It just doesn't inspire confidence. But the good news is, fixing this is actually pretty simple.
Absolutely. The blog post suggests doing an audit of all your online listings.
Okay.
Yelp, Facebook, even those industry-specific directories.
Right.
And making sure your NIP information is consistent across the board. You'd be surprised how many little inconsistencies creep in over time.
It's like spring cleaning for your online presence.
Yeah.
Out with the old inaccurate information and in with the fresh, consistent details that Google and your potential customers will love.
Exactly. And it brings up a really important point about local SEO.
Okay.
It's not a one-time thing.
Right.
You can't just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process, like tending a garden.
I like that.
You need to nurture your online presence over time to see those beautiful blooms, or in this case, those booming sales.
So true. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here. The power of local SEO, the importance of a killer Google My Business, listing those laser-focused local keywords, and making sure your NAP information is consistent everywhere. But how do we actually put all of this into action?
Right.
What are the practical steps our listeners can take today to start reaping the benefits of a solid local SEO strategy?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And it's where a lot of people get stuck.
Right.
They understand the concepts,
Yeah.
but they're not sure how to translate them into tangible results.
Right.
So let's switch gears a bit and talk about those actionable steps.
Perfect. Let's get practical.
So first and foremost, and I know we've already touched on this, but it bears repeating,
Okay.
claim your Google My Business listing.
It's so important.
I cannot overemphasize how important this is.
Right.
It's free. It's powerful,
Ah,
and it's often the very first impression a potential customer will have of your business.
right.
Think of it as your digital storefront on the busiest street in town. You want it to be eye-catching, informative, and inviting.
Make sure you're open for business in the digital world.
For sure.
Make it clear that you're the go-to place for whatever it is you offer.
Exactly. And once you've claimed your listing,
Yeah.
make sure all the information is accurate and up to date. Your business name, address, phone number, hours of operation, website link, every single detail matters. And don't forget to jazz it up with some high-quality photos.
Yeah.
Visuals are everything online.
A picture is worth 1,000 words,
Right.
especially when you're trying to stand out in a sea of search results. But what about those local keywords we were talking about earlier? How do we know what people are actually searching for?
That's where a little bit of research goes a long way. You can use free tools like Google Keyword Planner,
Okay.
which will give you insights into search volume and competition for specific keywords. You can even just pay attention to the autocomplete suggestions when you start typing something into Google. It's a great way to see what's top of mind for people in your area.
It's like eavesdropping on your target audience.
Yeah.
And once you have those keywords, how do you actually use them effectively?
Remember, it's not just about stuffing those keywords onto your website as many times as possible.
Right.
In fact, that can actually hurt you more than it helps.
Yeah.
It's about using them naturally in your content, in your Google My Business description,
Yeah.
in your social media posts everywhere.
It's like building a web of relevance.
Yeah.
And those local keywords are the threads that tie it all together.
I love that analogy. And here's something else that's often overlooked but is incredibly important.
Okay, what's that?
Local citations.
Local citations. That sounds a bit like something you'd find in a research paper.
Right.
What are we talking about here?
Think of it this way. You're a bakery, right? Being listed on Yelp is great, but what about being listed on those best bakeries in city websites?
Right.
Or local foodie blogs?
Okay.
Or even the Chamber of Commerce directory?
Right.
These are what we call local citations, and they're basically any online mention of your business name, address, and phone number.
Mm-hmm.
Remember NAP
I do.
on other relevant websites.
Oh, so it's like getting those extra shout outs in your high school yearbook.
Exactly.
The more places your name pops up, the more legit and established you seem.
It's all about building that online authority. And speaking of online authority, let's not forget about the elephant in the room. Our mobile-dependent world.
Oh, right.
Is your website mobile-friendly?
Oh, man. That's huge in this day and age. People are practically glued to their phones. If your website looks like it was designed back in the Stone Age, you're in trouble.
Think about it. If your website is a pain to navigate on a small screen,
Right.
people are just going to hit that back button and find someone else.
Yeah.
It's all about creating a seamless, user-friendly experience.
Right.
No matter what device someone is using.
Right. It's like trying to squeeze into a phone booth when you're used to spacious, open-plan offices. It's just not a good experience.
Exactly.
So we need to make sure our websites are mobile-friendly. But what about voice search? People are using Siri and Alexa for everything these days.
You're thinking ahead, and that's great.
Yeah.
Voice search is only going to become more important in the coming years.
For sure.
So it's something that businesses need to be thinking about now. When someone uses voice search, they're typically looking for quick, specific answers.
Right.
They're not scrolling through pages of search results.
Mm-hmm.
They're often just getting that top result.
Right.
So if your local SEO isn't on point, you're missing out on a huge chunk of potential customers.
It's like being the first page of Google results in a world where people only ever click on the very top link.
Exactly.
You've got to be in it to win it. So how do we optimize for voice search?
It's all about thinking about how people actually talk.
Yeah.
Instead of targeting short, generic keywords,
Okay.
you need to focus on those longer, more conversational phrases that people use in everyday speech.
Okay.
What's the best Italian restaurant near me that's open past 10 p.m.?
Right.
That's voice search in action.
It's like having a conversation with your phone. You want your business to be the answer. This is all such good stuff.
Right.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a quick pause and come back to talk more about those actionable steps you can take today to improve your local SEO game. And we're back. We've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive into local SEO, from those Google My Business listings to the rise of voice search. But I want to make sure our listeners walk away feeling empowered, not overwhelmed.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Knowledge is great, but it's the action that gets results.
Mm-hmm.
So let's break this down into some bite-sized takeaways.
Okay.
Some things you can start doing right now to make your business more visible online.
Hit us with those golden nuggets of wisdom.
All right, step one,
Okay.
and I know broken record here.
Yeah.
Make sure you've claimed and fully optimized that Google My Business profile.
Mm.
Think about the last time you searched for a restaurant or a shop.
Okay.
Did you even bother clicking on the ones with no pictures, no hours listed, and maybe one measly review?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, it's like they're hiding something.
Exactly. So treat your Google My Business listing like your business depends on it, because in
Yeah.
the digital age, it kind of does. High-quality photos, engaging descriptions, accurate hours, it all matters.
It's like dressing up for a job interview. You want to make a good first impression.
Yes.
And speaking of making a good impression, let's talk about reviews.
Ah, yes, the digital word of mouth. Encourage your happy customers to leave reviews,
Right.
whether it's on Google, Yelp, Facebook, industry-specific platforms, wherever it makes sense for your business. Those glowing testimonials can make a world of difference. People trust other people, especially when it comes to spending their hard-earned money.
Reviews are like those little gold stars you used to get in school. Everyone wants them. But what about the occasional negative review?
Right.
Those can be a bit scary.
Don't panic. A negative review, believe it or not, can actually be an opportunity to shine. Respond politely, professionally,
Okay.
and address the issue head-on. Show potential customers that you care about feedback and are committed to providing a positive experience.
It's all about turning that frown upside down.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about Google My Business and reviews. What about those local citations we touched on earlier? For those tuning in late, how would you sum up their importance?
Think of it like this. Imagine two bakeries.
Okay.
One has a basic website and a Yelp listing.
Right.
The other has all that, plus they're featured on a bunch of best-of lists,
Okay.
local foodie blogs, and community forums. Which one seems more credible? Which one would Google likely rank higher?
Definitely the bakery with those extra nods. It's like they've got a whole fan club cheering them on in the background.
Precisely. Local citations boost your credibility and signal to Google that you're a legitimate player in your local area.
So we've covered a lot of actionable strategies today, but as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
Something to chew on as they embark on their local SEO adventures.
I'm all ears.
Imagine your business were a physical storefront right here, right now. Take a moment to picture it. Now, based on your current online presence, how easy would it be for someone to find you? Would they see a bright, welcoming storefront with a line of eager customers?
Right.
Or would they walk right past, oblivious to your existence?
That's such a powerful visualization, and it really drives home the point that in the digital age, your online presence is your storefront. It's how people discover you, learn about you, and ultimately decide whether or not to walk through that virtual door.
So make it a storefront worth visiting.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of local SEO. A huge thank you to my brilliant co-host.
Thank you.
And to all of you for joining us. If you're hungry for more tips, tricks, and resources, be sure to check out our website. Until next time, happy optimizing.